A film where the guy who plays Wicked goes on a quest and learns how to use magic. Sounds totally
Good. Very good.
Willow. Released in 1988 by Lucasfilm. Back when they still made good stuff, and directed by Ron Howard, back when he still did justice to George Lucas's creations. Filmed on 3 continents including New Zealand, where J.R.R. Tolkien's epic Lord of the Rings would one day be made. Visionary filmmaker George Lucas wrote this film specifically for Warwick Davis, after meeting him during the production of Return of the Jedi.
Saw the film for the first time you did last week, How feel you?
I feel young. But seriously, seeing this classic for the first time as an adult was truly refreshing in today's creative wasteland of reboots and franchise-destroying sequels. Returning to a simpler era of filmmaking where story was king and effects actually were special made me feel like a youngling again. Our cheery little tale begins in a maternity ward of doom in the dungeons of the evil Queen Bavmorda, played to villainous perfection by Jean Marsh. And I gotta say, if there was an old villain dating app, I think her and Palpatine would be a good match.
Very true.
Turns out old Witchy Poo is searching for a special child who is foretold to end her time as ruler.
To a dark place her mind goes. Seeking to thwart the prophecy, the evil queen plans to ritually sacrifice the infant once it is found.
Because, it's a family movie. But it's a family movie from 1988, baby, so that means it's totally wizard, and has a villain better than most MCU films. Even so, I know I'm not the best with kids and all, but she's starting the whole youngling murder thing a bit early, isn't she?
She's a total weirdo.
Fortunately, a compassionate midwife smuggles Princess Alora Dannon out of the castle. The princess is played by the adorable twins Ruth and Kate Greenfield, who manage more expression and personality at 6 months than Captain Marvel. Unfortunately, the royal pain Bavmorda sicks her evil devil dogs on the midwife, who sends Princess Alora downriver Baby Moses style, where the little bundle of joy is found by the peaceful Nelwyn people.
Over 200 little people were cast as the Nelwyn villagers, including Kenyon Baker, who Star Wars fans will know as R2-D2.
We meet our hero of the picture, Willow Ufgood, played by everyone's favorite Ewok, Warwick Davis, in his first unmasked role on film. Now Willow here wants to be a great sorcerer, and today is the big day when High Alderman, played by Billy Barty, who Masters of the Universe fans will recognize as Gwildor, establishes the future pecking order of the village by choosing his apprentice.
But Willow is chosen instead for a dangerous mission: to return the child to the outside world.
And here's where it really starts to feel a bit like the family version of Lord of the Rings. A brave hero of diminutive stature, sent on a dangerous quest by an old wizard to save the world from a dark magical ruler. But speaking of magic, if you want to keep the magic alive here at Vader Reviews, please consider making a small donation so we don't run short on funds. Every little bit helps. Your generous support not only makes our weekly reviews possible, but Wizard fan films as well. I want to take a moment to thank Sith Duchess Britt Dover and Sith Apprentice Aaron Handy for their generous donation, as well as everyone else who have given their hard-earned credits to keep Vader Reviews going. You are all heroes of the Empire. Back to the movie. Our band of pint-sized heroes form a caravan of courage, so to speak, and set off on their quest, which is ironic since George Lucas first mentioned the project to Warwick Davis during the filming of the Ewok Adventure films. Along his journey, Willow meets a wild swordsman named Mad Monaghan, played by Iceman himself, Val Kilmer, who ad-libbed most of his dialogue throughout the film. Fun fact, during his introduction scene, the chain holding the iron cage he was held in snapped, causing it to fall directly on his foot, nearly breaking it, causing Kilmer to limp in certain scenes.
Wish to be a great sorcerer, Willow does. but judge him by his size, do you? And where you should not. For his ally is Sherrilendria, and a powerful ally she is.
The fairy queen, Sherrilendria, gives Willow a magic wand and sends our little hero to find Fin Raziel, a powerful sorceress who can defeat Queen Bavmorda. Mad Mardigan comes along for the adventure, and though he looks down on the Nelwyn at first, the long and the short of it is, they need his help to protect the baby from Bav's minions, including General Kale, who looks like a roided-up Skeletor, played by Pat Roach, who Indiana Jones fans will recognize as not only the heavy who fights Indy in the bar, as well as the German who meets a splattery end at the hands of a propeller in Raiders, but also the slave master in Temple of Doom.
The Queen's daughter, Saoirse, is also sent to find the child.
But when Mad Mardigan is hit with a fairy love potion, he falls for the evil red-haired babe like a ton of bricks and starts spouting cheesy romantic dialogue so bad it sounds like it's from episode 2. Interestingly, the real magic happened off-screen, as Kilmer and his co-star Joanne Whaley fell in love during production and were married shortly after. Our heroes get in a peck of trouble when Skeletor kidnaps Princess Allura, but they decide to storm Bavmorda's castle for the final climactic battle of the film. The visuals of Mardigan's duel with General Kale in the rain are pretty wizard, and speaking of wizards, I couldn't help but think of the magic duel between Gandalf and Saruman as I watched Fin Raziel and Bavmorda duke it out. The film is also a milestone in visual effects history, being the first to use the morphing effect developed by Dennis Muren and his team of special effects wizards at ILM. In the end, Willow is much more than a technical achievement. It is a magical film whose timeless fairy tale quality can be enjoyed by adults and children alike. And while the effects don't always hold up, the story and characters transported me to a fantasy world and made me feel like a youngling again. How many Death Stars would you give this film, Master Yoda?
5 out of 5, I give. A heartfelt story it is, full of adventure, excitement, and a deeper message that all that truly matters is the size of your heart.
I agree. Sadly, due to the lower box office results upon its initial release, audiences were cheated out of the sequels George Lucas had planned. However, if you're a fan of Willow, you can find his further adventures in the 3-book Chronicles of the Shadow War series, written by Chris Claremont and George Lucas. Read a book. It's good for your noggin. This has been Vader Reviews.
Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications, you must. Share these videos with your friends.
And follow me on Twitter at Vader Reviews. Join the Empire today. It's totally wizard!